Hey people, it's Michael from the Kids Library, and welcome to Coding with Scratch Junior. Scratch Junior is this awesome free app that teaches the basics of computer coding, but in a fun way. We can make different stories and animations by telling our characters what to do. You can get it on an iPad, that's how we did it in our in-person classes. You can also get it on Android tablets or on a Chromebook. If you search on Google for it, there's also a free open source desktop version that works really well. So this is the second Scratch Junior class. If you want, please check out the first one from a few months back. You can find it on our Elmhurst Public Library YouTube channel, and the link to that first Scratch Junior class is going to be down in the description of this video. I'll go over really quick what I showed in that first class, and then I'm going to show you some more cool stuff you can do with Scratch Junior. So once you get the Scratch Junior app, to get started, let's tap this home button. And then click plus here to make a new project. And then we are greeted with our friend Scratch. To move Scratch around, we can use these blue buttons here. That's what it starts on, the blue button on the left. And then you can drag out all these different blue buttons. So all these buttons tell Scratch to do different things. So if you click on the top here, if you tap the button, you can see what it does. It says move right, that moves Scratch right. And then this moves Scratch left. This moves Scratch up. This one moves Scratch down. This one makes Scratch turn right. This one makes Scratch turn left. This one makes him hop. And then this thing makes him go back to the beginning at the end. And remember, it's like a story, so all of these different things that move him around and all of that, they fit together. They want to be connected like a story would be. All of these different pieces each do separate things, so when we click them, that makes him go right, that makes him go left. But if we want it to be a connected story, we got to put all the puzzle pieces together. And then to start our story, we're going to click on this yellow button here. And then there's this green flag. That's what starts our story. So we click and drag it out, and then when we press the green flag up top, that starts the story, and Scratch does all of those things. All of the blue buttons have these little numbers below them, so they're all set to 1 right now. So when he moves a tiny bit. When he jumps up, he does a tiny bit. When he turns left and right, he only does it a little bit. But you can tap those numbers, and you can change it from 1. There's this little number pad in the right you can use. You can go all the way, say from 1, we could try then 10. Let's see how far that makes him go. That makes him go a lot farther. You can actually go all the way up to 99, I believe. But that takes a long time for Scratch to do. So try changing those numbers and see what you can make Scratch do. Let's go back to 1 here. Let's see, okay, let's change this to 20. That's going to make him spin a bunch. Woo! Yeah, you can have some fun with it. If we want Scratch to go back where he was, we can go back to the blue buttons here, and then drag this last one out, and then at the end that'll make him go back, or you can hit this blue button up here. That'll make him go back to where he was originally. So now Scratch is going to go back to where he was at the beginning. Alright, so now really quick, I'm going to show you how you can choose a background, because this white is really boring. We click this nice picture up top next to the ABC, and it gives you a bunch of stuff to choose from. I'm going to pick fall. But it's kind of boring with just Scratch. So if we want to get more stuff in here, we can click this plus on the left side. It's just below Scratch. Click it. We can get different animals, different people. You can get different bikes, you can get objects, planets, houses, sports stuff, vehicles. So let's spruce it up a little bit. Let's get the barn in here. That's going to look nice in the fall scene. Let's get some other stuff. Let's get, oh no, a storm cloud. And, oh no, a tornado. And each one of those things that I put in here, they can do the same things as Scratch, move around and all of that. So now that we've got our scene made, I can show you some cool tricks you can do with more than one character or objects. So remember that yellow button? We usually want a green flag to start a story, right? But there's other ways to start a story. So let's look at them. All the ones to the right of that green flag, so when you tap on them, it'll say what it does. This one says start on tap. Let's go back to Scratch, and it does exactly what it says it does. It starts when we tap Scratch. So let's give Scratch something to do. For example, say, well, we drag out our start on tap, and then let's make him move to the right 10, 1, 0, and then we're gonna make him jump 10, 0. And then we are going to make him do a flip. And then when you have this rotate thing, if you want to make him do a flip, the exact number you want is 12. So I'm going to do 1, 2. So now when we tap Scratch, he'll do just that. Tap. Whoa! Let's go. So that green flag up here doesn't do anything anymore. The stuff only happens when we tap Scratch. And then when we're done, we can make them go back to the beginning. Let's look at those other ways to start stuff. So to the right of all that, there are these two orange letters. One's open, one's closed. So that first one, when we tap it, it says start on orange message, and that's kind of confusing. And then the second one is send orange start message. So that first one, that open letter, that starts something, that makes Scratch do something, but it only starts it if it gets a letter. So we need someone or something to send that letter first. So let's get rid of these for Scratch. Just drag them up and then it gets rid of them. And let's click on that tornado. And just so you know, it didn't get rid of that stuff. The space is kind of empty now, but it saved all the stuff Scratch is going to do. So let's go back to the tornado. And let's make the tornado do something. I've already got our green flag I dragged here. It's going to do something super simple. It's just going to move to the right, let's say 3. It's going to move to the right 3. And then after it does that, we're going to go back to that yellow button, and then we're going to go to that last one. That's the one that sends the letter to Scratch. So we're going to drag that out, and now after that tornado moves, it's going to send that letter to Scratch. So when we tap that green flag, our tornado is going to do something, not Scratch. And then after that tornado does something, it's going to let Scratch know that he needs to do something. And Scratch is going to receive that letter, and then he's going to do all those shenanigans that he's going to do. So let's press the green flag. So that tornado is going to move, and then Scratch is like, yeah, I'm out. And then runs away, jumps, and does a flip. So let's click this back button to get him back to where we were. And there was one I skipped over, the last one in that yellow bar. It says, when you tap on it, start on bump cat. So that means that when something bumps Scratch on the screen or touches him, it's going to make Scratch do all his shenanigans and all that. So let's get rid of the start on message button. And so we want to drag all this stuff away from that button instead of the other way around. And then we drag this button up here, and then we get start on bump cat or Scratch. So before we had our tornado, when we pressed the green flag, it moved a little, sent that letter to Scratch, Scratch did his thing. Now we're going to get rid of that letter, and instead we're going to make that tornado go farther. We're going to change the 3 to a 10, and then when that tornado touches Scratch, Scratch is going to do his thing. And before we start, we want to make sure, nothing is touching Scratch. I made that mistake earlier. Say if this Martin was touching him, that would make him do his thing already because it bumped into him. So we've got to move stuff out of the way. Let's move this up. Let's make Scratch go back. Okay. Oh, there we go. Now it's not touching him. So when we press the green flag, the tornado is going to go. It's going to touch Scratch, and Scratch is going to do his thing. Let's try it. Oh no, run, Scratch, run! There you go. Do a flip. Nice. And I like the start on Bump Cat a lot better because the tornado keeps doing its thing while Scratch is also doing his thing. When we did the letter, it made the tornado stop afterwards, and then Scratch did his thing. These two keep going at the same time, so it looks nicer. So the last thing that I'm going to show you guys today is how to make stuff faster or how to make stuff slower. Because, you know, Scratch should really be running faster to get away from that tornado. So we're going to go back to those colorful buttons on the left. Instead of yellow or blue, we're going to click orange this time. And then the thing that makes stuff faster or stuff slower, tap on it, set speed, it looks like a stick figure running. And so let's drag that out. And we want to set that speed before Scratch does anything. So let's move those blue buttons out of the way. Let's move this in, and then let's see how that goes. Okay, it did the exact same thing. So just like earlier where we played with the numbers of how far stuff went, let's make this go back. We're going to change the speed with that arrow on the bottom of this orange button. So let's press it. And then we want to press the one that looks like a stick figure running for his life, because that's what Scratch needs to do right now. Alright, we set our speed to super fast. Let's try it now. Click the green flag, tornado goes, touches Scratch, Scratch goes really fast, gets away. Nice job, Scratch. So I encourage you to try and play around with those features. Like, for example, you can make the tornado slower instead if we drag that orange button out. So there's a ton of different stuff you can do with it, setting the speeds and all that. Alright everybody, that is it for this Scratch Junior class. I know that was a lot of stuff, and some of this stuff can be really tricky, so never feel bad if you don't get it right your first time. So I'm also going to link in the description of this another sheet of activities and challenges you can try online. So good luck, and I will see you all later.